Tournaments are back. WWE has embraced them again and they're all the rage. We had the Cruiserweight Classic, the UK Championship Tournament, and soon we apparently have another that's going to be focused on the women's division. This is good. This is great. Especially because it seems like King of the Ring is dead. Shame that. I like the King of the Ring. Not necessarily what happened afterwards, but I enjoyed the idea. Better than all that, though, is that WCPW has its own tournament coming up as well, the Pro Wrestling World Cup. 64 wrestlers from around the globe competing for one shot at glory. And you can get more info about that at wc.pw/world-cup. Sweet. Given this resurge in popularity, there's only one thing to do, right? And you know what that is. Let's say it all together. I'm Simon from What Culture, and this is the 10 best ever wrestling tournaments. Number 10. The WWE Championship Tournament at WrestleMania 4. This tournament isn't in this list because it had great matches top to bottom. Because it didn't have great matches top to bottom. In fact, some were terrible. But that's the point. It didn't really matter because this was one of the most important nights in WWE history. For starters, this is the only time WWE held a one-night championship tournament at WrestleMania. Think of that. The whole show dedicated to one idea. That's a ballsy move. On top of that, the second round had a rematch between Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant, which was the main event just a year prior. That is huge! It was also filled with iconic names: Hogan, Savage, Steamboat, DiBiase, Valentine, Bam Bam Bigelow. But better than all of that was that Macho Man left victorious, claiming his first world championship in the process. And if that wasn't enough, it was also here that started in motion the Mega Powers feud that would culminate at WrestleMania 5. All of that thanks to one tournament. That's pretty good. Number 9. The WWE Tag Team Tournament in 2002. There's been loads of tag team tournaments over the years, but none were as exciting as the one from 2002. Existing because WWE needed to crown some tag champs over on SmackDown following the brand split, they went all in and threw star after star into the mix. Well, mostly. There was also some people just held together to make new teams, such as Mark Henry and Rikishi, and even John Cena and Billy Kidman. But that was balanced out with the likes of Los Guerreros, Edge, Brock Lesnar, Rey Mysterio. This was also the story of the coming together between Kurt Angle and Chris Benoit. Long-term rivals up to this point, they were forced to team for this tournament and ran through the competition. The two met Edge and Mysterio in the finals at No Mercy, and the end result was outstanding. It reminded everyone why tag team wrestling can be so good and lit the crowd up something fierce. It ended with Angle and Benoit winning, and the whole thing was just great. Number 8. The WWE King of the Ring 1994. Before King of the Ring tanked out, it was a surefire way to make stars. It helped people like Steve Austin and Edge no end. It did not help Wade Barrett. Or Sheamus. Back in 1994 though, everything was set up just right. Benefiting hugely from the debut of the tournament in 1993 and the fact winner Bret Hart used it to take such a huge step up, everyone and their dog now bought into the thing twice as much. It ended with Owen Hart repeating his brother's success and doing so wonderfully. Defeating Tatanka, the 1-2-3 Kid and Razor Ramon on his way, and looking awesome in the process, it just proved how talented he was in the ring. The whole thing just felt super legit, and it wasn't hard to enjoy it as if you were watching a real sporting event. It also laid the seeds for the amazing Hart feud that would soon come to pass. So we really can't knock it. Number 7. The WWE Deadly Game Tournament. Taking over Survivor Series in 1998 to crown a new WWE champion, the question on everyone's lips was who was going to walk away with the gold. There were so many top names in the tournament, it was impossible to guess who the frontrunner was, and it was just paced wonderfully, with early matches not outstaying their welcome, and later ones just getting bigger and bigger as time went on. The real highlight though was the ending. Having The Rock face off against Mankind for the WWE Championship, Rocky revealed that he was actually part of Vince McMahon's inner circle and sold his soul to climb to the top of the mountain. It was the start of The Rock's best run with the company and transformed him into a superstar. No one ever saw it coming. Number 6. The NWA Crockett Cup. In 1987, Dusty Rhodes proved that his love for tag team wrestling ran deep by setting up the second NWA Crockett Cup, where 24 tag teams competed for $1 million. The one and only Road Warriors had left as victors the year prior, and Animal and Hawk returned here, as well as the likes of the Midnight Express, the Rock and Roll Express, and of course, Dusty teaming with Nikita Koloff. While if you watch it today you may not get it in the sense the matches weren't the most athletic of endeavours, it told a great story, and by the time the final came you were desperate to see who was going to win, which a good tournament should always do. Coming down to Dusty, of course, and Koloff going against Lex Luger and Tully Blanchard, the roles of each had been explained superbly. The faces had fought and crawled their way to the end, whereas Luger and Tully had it pretty easy. This just gave the fans even more reason to celebrate when the American Dream and his partner won. It left everyone feeling great inside. And that's when wrestling's at its best, baby. That's when wrestling's at its best. Number 5, the WWE Gold Rush Tournament. In 2005, WWE put together the Gold Rush Tournament to crown a #1 contender for Batista's world title, and it was awesome. Why? Mostly because of the lineup. Featuring Christian, Edge, Jericho, Shelton Benjamin, Shawn Michaels, Chris Benoit and Kane, among others, it was packed with guys who could have great matches with one another. As such, the whole thing was amazing, surprise surprise. It featured Michaels superkicking Shelton in mid-air, that's been replayed ever since then. Edge and Jericho tore it up, then Edge did that again with Michaels. Then Edge did that again with Kane. The ending saw the Rated R superstar smack Kane with his Money in the Bank briefcase to win, which made things even more interesting because now he had 2 #1 contender shots. And the idea of that was just cool. Number 4, the WWE Cruiserweight Classic. If you were to look at everything WWE did in 2016, I think it's fair to say that the Cruiserweight Classic was one of the best. Not only did it revitalise the idea of tournaments in the WWE, but it was just brilliant, showcasing a ton of great matches. It was also brand new ground for the company because nearly everyone involved was from outside of their walls. Essentially a gathering of the world's best freelance wrestlers. We got to see the likes of Kota Ibushi, Gran Metalik and Zack Sabre Jr. in a WWE ring. It was surreal. There was also hardly a dud throughout, and seeing TJ Perkins defeat Metalik in the final felt like the start of something special. The follow-up may have been poor and the cruiserweights need a reset ASAP, but you cannot fault how it all began. It's unfaultable. Number 3, the NJPW G1 Climax 24. New Japan's G1 is more often than not a fun watch, and it was no different in 2014. Slightly different from your average tournament in the sense it's not single elimination. The competitors are split into 2 groups and then compete in almost a league where you get 2 points for a win, 1 for a draw, and 0 for a loss. The 2 men who top each side then face each other, and the winner gets a shot at the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. If it sounds long and grueling, that's because it is. It takes place over multiple weeks, and trying to keep up with it is damn hard. You need to track it all constantly to understand what's happening, and it really does feel like a sport. It was in 2014, however, where it reached new heights. Boasting at least 2 must-see contests a day, names such as Nakamura, Shibata, AJ Styles and Okada refused to slow down, and instead went full pelt constantly. It was nuts! This year also had the final of Okada vs Nakamura, 2 of New Japan's biggest stars and fantastic wrestlers to boot. Okada would walk away with the W, and it was just top stuff all round. Go and watch it now. That is an order. Number 2, the NJPW Super J Cup. The Super J Cup existed for one reason and one reason only: to bring together the best junior heavyweights on the planet and see who was the best. In 1994, this is exactly what happened with New Japan, doing this with 14 wrestlers from 6 different promotions and letting them go at it. In terms of talent, it was ridiculous. From Jushin Thunder Liger to Eddie Guerrero to Chris Benoit to the Great Sasuke, it was arguably one of the best assembling of wrestlers ever. Somehow, the brains behind it managed to keep everyone strong as well, meaning when it was over, no one felt like a loser. The finals also produced one of the finest Japanese matches in history. Pegasus vs Sasuke earned 5 stars from Dave Meltzer as they defied the idea of speed and worked faster than anyone should be able to. It was simply dazzling, and the 2 balanced ground chain wrestling with high flying action as if that's what everybody did in pro wrestling. The crowd loved every second. The tournament would eventually end when Benoit defeated Sasuke to secure his legacy in Japan, and it may very well be his best match of all time. Number 1, the WWE King of the Ring 1993. Remember how we mentioned that the original King of the Ring was so good that it allowed people to buy into the follow-up as something serious? That's why it's at number 1. It felt real, man. This was even more impressive as there was nothing on the line. The winner could just claim bragging rights, but that was clearly of interest to many, as Bret Hart, Razor Ramon, Mr. Perfect and Bam Bam Bigelow all got involved. Nearly everyone worked their socks off too, and Hart's match with Mr. Perfect was especially excellent, as was the final. As Bret took on Bam Bam, the story of a much fresher Bigelow trying to have his way with Hart was told wonderfully, and Bret being able to overcome the odds with an out-of-nowhere roll-up only helped further. It also served as a huge jumping-off point for the Hitman too. He went on to become one of the biggest stars of the era, and his popularity with the company skyrocketed. This would have all probably have come to pass without the King of the Ring, but the tournament certainly helped. Know of any other great tournaments in wrestling history? Let us know in the comments below, and then remember to like, share, and subscribe. You can even come tell me on Twitter at SimonMiller316. I'm Simon from What Culture, and I will be chatting to you again soon.